If you looked at the headlines for Ho Chi Minh City real estate 3 or 4 years ago, the words you saw were skyrocketing, fever, and boom. But here we are, closing out 2025, staring down the barrel of 2026, and the vocabulary has completely changed. It feels different.
Completely different. If 2022 was the roller coaster drop, 2025 has been the moment the ride levels out and you can finally catch your breath. We aren't seeing a frenzy anymore. We're seeing something arguably more important: stabilization.
Stabilization sounds a bit boring, doesn't it? But I get the sense that in this market, boring is actually good.
Boring is profitable. Boring is safe. And to be fair, the backdrop is strong. Vietnam's economy has really flexed its muscles this year. Exports are resilient, manufacturing is expanding, and foreign money, FDI, is still pouring in. But that macro success isn't lifting every boat in the property market equally. It's become a story of haves and have-nots.
Let's dig into that, because usually when the economy grows, people buy houses. Is that happening?
It is, but it's a tale of two cities. We have this two-speed dynamic right now. If you look at the core, District 1, the Thu theme area in District 2, parts of District 7, it's healthy. Prices are stable or even inching up. Why? Because the people buying there aren't speculating on a quick flip. They want capital preservation. They want luxury, and they want it now.
So the prime market is holding its ground. But what about the rest? The mid-market, the outer districts?
That's where the engine is sputtering a bit. We've seen a surge in supply there, mostly because developers finally finished projects that had been stalled for years. Suddenly, there's a lot of choice for the budget-conscious buyer. But here's the catch. Lending standards are tighter. People can't just borrow cheap money anymore.
So you have more supply but harder access to cash. That sounds like a recipe for a buyer's market.
Exactly. And developers know it. If you walk into a sales gallery in an outer district right now, they aren't just selling you a condo. They're offering flexible payment schemes over 5 years, waiving management fees, maybe even throwing in furniture packages. They have to incentivize sales because the organic urgency just isn't there.
It's interesting you mentioned the urgency is gone. I've noticed a shift in what people are willing to buy too. A few years ago, people would buy a piece of paper, a promise that a building would exist in 3 years.
The off-plan model. Yeah, that has taken a massive hit. Trust was damaged during the volatility of the last few years. Now the secondary market is king. Buyers want to see the brick and mortar. They want the keys in their hand immediately. If you have a well-maintained resale unit with a pink book, title deed, near a metro line, it sells fast. If you're selling a promise on a dirt lot, good luck.
That psychological shift from speculation to tangible assets is huge. Let's pivot to the rental market. I'm seeing more expats around town again. Is that reflected in the data?
Absolutely. The ghost town vibe of the post-pandemic era is gone. Multinational firms have brought their teams back, so demand for Grade A serviced apartments and corporate housing in the center has recovered strongly. Rents there are climbing.
And further out?
Also stable, but for a different reason. It's migration. People are still moving to HCMC for work, and since buying is harder due to those tight loans we mentioned, they are forced to rent. It's keeping the occupancy rates high even in the suburbs.
I want to touch on the commercial side. I keep hearing about hybrid work. Is the office dead in Vietnam?
Far from it. But it's evolved. Companies don't just want space anymore. They want quality. Old, dusty buildings with bad air conditioning are struggling. But the new Grade A buildings? They're doing great because companies need to lure staff back to the office with nice amenities. It's a flight to quality.
Okay, so residential is mixed. Offices are selective. If I'm an investor looking for the real heat in 2025, where is it? Because surely something is booming.
If you want the boom, you have to leave the city center and look at the industrial zones. Logistics and industrial real estate are the absolute standout performers of 2025.
Warehouses?
Warehouses, cold chain storage, data centers. Think about it. Vietnam is benefiting from the global supply chain realignment. Manufacturing is moving here. E-commerce is exploding locally. All that stuff needs to be stored and moved. Vacancy rates in industrial parks are incredibly low.
So while the condo market is walking, the warehouse market is sprinting.
That's the perfect way to put it. And institutional capital knows this. The big investment funds are aggressively buying up industrial land in the satellite provinces around HCMC. They see the long-term yield there.
That leads me to the so what portion of our chat. If I'm an individual investor, not a giant fund, what is the playbook for 2026?
The playbook is defense wins championships. Don't try to be a hero with speculative bets. If you're buying residential, target completed units in good locations with clear rental potential. Avoid over-leveraging.
And for the home buyer? The person who just wants a place to live?
It's actually a decent time to buy if you have the deposit ready, because you have negotiating power in the mid-market. But focus on commute convenience. With the metro lines finally reshaping the city, being near a station is going to be the biggest driver of long-term appreciation.
And what should we be worried about? What are the dark clouds on the horizon?
Interest rates are the big one. If they spike, affordability gets crushed. Also, we need to watch the global economy. If the US or Europe slows down, our exports drop, and that hits the industrial sector we just praised. And finally, policy. The government is trying to cool speculation, which is good long-term, but sudden regulatory changes can freeze the market overnight.
It sounds like the Wild West days of HCMC real estate are fading. We are entering a more mature, perhaps slower, but more sustainable phase.
That's the key word, maturity. 2026 is going to be about measured growth. We aren't going to see prices double overnight anymore, and frankly, we shouldn't want that. We want a market where value is driven by fundamentals, location, quality, and rental yield, not just hype.
A sobering but encouraging thought. It seems the city is growing up.
It is. And for the savvy investor, that clarity is worth more than the chaos of a boom.
We'll leave it there. Navigating the stabilization, it's not as flashy as a gold rush, but it's certainly safer. Thanks for breaking it down.
My pleasure.
And thank you for listening. Keep your eyes on the fundamentals, and we'll catch you in the next episode.